Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure,
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
This week, we look at Gander, Newfoundland, Canada, where a man's crimes are uncovered by a tactic that may or may not be legal. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Your yay is well warranted this week. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Man, we are psyched to be with you this week, as
every
always.
week.
When are we not psyched to be with you, honestly? I am always pumped for this, as I know you are. This is good stuff. This is our happiest time of the week. Small Town Murder, and also listen to Crime and Sports if you haven't. I don't know what you're doing. You don't need to like sports.
No,
it's sports.
It's unnecessary.
Sports have as much to do with that as the town does here. It's just a setting. That's all it is, a backdrop.
Just gives you some insight.
Just gives you some insight on what's going on with the person. But we want to thank everyone for their iTunes reviews this week because we had a huge week with those.
That's crazy.
You guys are awesome. We're pushing toward 2,000. We're almost to 2,000, that's kind of like the level where the big boys are. You know what I mean? That's where
some people go, oh, those people got people to listen to them.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
We did notice this week we were beating Alec Baldwin.
That's fucking awesome.
That's pretty funny. So if you have not yet, please get on iTunes. I know it takes a few seconds to get on there. You got to sign in and all that. It's a pain in the ass, but this is a way bigger pain in the ass to put all this together. So if you could do that, that would be terrific. It helps us out immensely on the business end. iTunes and their weird algorithms and the weird way they make their charts. It's so silly. So it's a weird combination of all sorts of things, and weighing in heavily are those reviews. So that's, you guys are keeping us on the charts and keeping us in good standing. So thank you guys so much. Also, too, Guys, sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes people are like, I left an iTunes review, but I don't feel fulfilled.
I'm not whole.
I have a hole in my soul right now.
I'm empty.
And that emptiness can be filled by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports, which is our aforementioned other podcast. Yeah. You can get on there and you can leave a donation. We have some cool rewards on there for you. And if you don't want to do that, if you're like, I just want to make a one-time quick donation here, go to PayPal. crimeinsports@gmail.com as our address there. You can drop us a few bucks there. Also, while we're at it, listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie, where me and my girlfriend Sarah Hunt talk about bad romantic comedies, and we make fun of them, and it's a good time. It's this, but bad movies.
We're getting really close. Like, we're definitely threatening upon getting you some health insurance. So
it's almost.
If you can donate, appreciate it. Help me get James some coverage.
I almost have bills.
Right.
I almost have, my electric bill covered. Now we're working on health insurance next. That'd be great.
Keeping James from having a phlegmy cough in December.
Yeah, that's going to be ugly for you guys. Honestly, I'm thinking of you only. Yeah. It's really what it is. Before we get started, we do have to give our disclaimer that we give every week. This is a comedy podcast. Mm-hmm. Facts are real. Mm-hmm. Research is real. Stories are real. Everything is real. But it's a comedy podcast. We're stand-up comedians, so we make jokes. We never make jokes at the expense of the victims or the victims' families. We're not assholes. That's not what we do. We're
assholes. We're not scumbags.
Assholes, but we're not scumbags, like we've said. Like we've said this before, and it's true. We're not scumbags. We're not going to make fun of these people. It comes at the expense of small towns, which we're all from small towns. And, they all deserve to be made fun of.
Fuck yeah.
And, of course, bumbling police forces and murderers. We make fun of murderers because they're murderers. Fuck them. They should be made fun of.
They're the assholes.
That's right. If nothing, at the very least, they should be mocked. Yeah. Let's just say that.
At minimum.
But beyond that, without further ado, Jimmy.
Right.
We have to get to something huge here.
Yeah?
We have to get to this case. This week, we are heading out. Last week, we were in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
This week, we're heading away from Oklahoma. We're heading out of the U.S.
What?
We are going to Canada this week, guys.
Get your parkas.
Canada. And I said before, we went to the U.K.
Yeah.
We did U.K. a few episodes ago. We're going to do Canada. Australia.
Yeah.
We know you're there. We see you. We've gotten tons of responses from you guys and case suggestions and all that.
Thank
you, guys. We're going to be in Australia within the next few episodes, so don't worry. We're going to be all over the place. Also have a case in Italy we're going to cover and all that. We're going to go international, but let's go to Canada this time, which is not that international from us. It's attached to us, and we kind of think of it as
It may as well be America because all the population's on the border.
It's like if someone was a dick and they had a nice little brother. Right. You were like, well, he's a dick, but his little brother's a nice guy. That's Canada.
That's
no
Canada.
Offense calling you our little brother, but because you're probably in size pretty similar. But you have like 30 million people. We have 350 million. So we're going to call it little brother just based on population.
They're basically exiled Americans. That's what they are.
Plus, we're bullies. So that's the other
true.
thing. You'd be the little brother who's gotten wedgies and everybody feels bad for you because we're such dicks.
You
have to be attached to us.
Out of your hair.
Yes, exactly. Let's go to Gander, Newfoundland, Canada.
All right.
Let's go there. Or Newfoundland and Labrador, I should say, the official province title, Newfoundland and Labrador, but that's a long title. Let's just call it Newfoundland for now. Yeah. So Gander, Newfoundland, Canada. They got 2 dogs named after that province? Not bad, right? That's pretty impressive. Not too shabby.
We don't have any.
No, that's where dogs go. That's where they come from. Yeah. Big dogs come from there.
Good ones.
Two
of the
solid
best
dogs.
Yeah.
A couple of solid dogs coming
friendly,
from up there.
Very big, lots of hair.
Good shit. Yeah. Good family dogs.
Yeah.
This Newfoundland, if I can explain it, because if you're not from Canada, you probably have no goddamn idea where Newfoundland is, just like I didn't before. Right. I knew it was over east somewhere, but it's on the far east side of Canada. Okay. It's on the Atlantic Ocean there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's all the way over. It's like above Maine over there. It's basically separated into 2 parts.
Okay.
There's like kind of a mainland Newfoundland that's attached to everything, and there's like a big island in Newfoundland, so there's 2 parts. This is on the island part. This Gander. It's on the eastern central part of this island, kind of up north. Northeastern, we'll call it. Northeastern part of this island. They're big islands.
Really?
Yeah, in terms of space, they look pretty big.
Wow.
Not that populated.
Well, no,
they're also,
because it's all fucking cold.
It's cold.
Yeah.
It's cold out there. It's wet. It's cold, and we'll find out exactly what kind of it's there for.
Yeah. This ain't the Grand Caymans, by the way.
No.
This is
this is cold islands.
Right.
Yeah.
This is Antarctica almost.
This is where big hairy dogs come from. You know what I mean? They need that for warmth.
Big hairy water dogs that rescue people.
Absolutely. It's on the northeastern shore of Gander Lake, which makes sense. Postal code A1V. That's the postal code, guys.
That's
so
bananas.
I don't know anything about Canadian postal code, so I'm not going to make fun of it because I don't even know what it is. I just know that's their area, their zip code type of thing. Area code 709 if you want to give a call to Newfoundland. It is a big town in terms of mileage. It's 40 and a quarter square miles.
Okay.
So it's a big town. It's a big, there's a lot of space up there.
Yeah.
It's Canada. If one thing Canada has, it's space.
You bet.
They have a lot of space for you. It's plenty. It's such a huge country to think there's only 30 million people there. It's like, where are they?
The landmass is ridiculous.
Yeah. And you think about, like, Toronto's a huge city.
Yeah.
So, like, a good percentage of their population's in Toronto and Vancouver and Montreal and Quebec and, Calgary maybe. And
they're all down south.
And that's it. And then there's, like, 12 hunters with a big hairy dog wandering around the rest of the country, I feel like. That's Canada. That's how we look at you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's...
Lots of plaid.
It's, you know what? Look at it as that's how the world sees you.
Yeah.
Hey, true or not. We're sure it's not true.
It's not a threatening one.
It's not a threatening one.
Right. It's not an insulting way of looking at you. It's just...
Yeah, we picture you a nice little house covered in snow with smoke coming out of the chimney.
Right.
That's all. Yeah.
Comfy.
Drinking a beer with a higher alcohol content than normal. This place was settled in 1936.
Okay.
It's the site of the Gander International Airport, which is how this town started. It was chosen for construction of an airport in 1935 because of its location. It's close to it's like the northeast tip of the populated North America, not up in the Antarctic or anything like that. Now, during the Second World War, it became important. They used it as a kind of that's a base, basically. They used it to get people in and out from up there. During the Second World War, there was as many as 10,000 soldiers residing there, for American soldiers, British, and Canadian soldiers during the war. Yeah, absolutely. They had about 20,000 American and Canadian fighters and bombers stopping there en route to Europe.
Okay.
So it'd be like the last stop, you fuel up, and then you can go to Europe from there because it's literally the last stop before the Atlantic.
It's all water.
Yeah, before it's all water and Greenland, which I'm not sure if that was a...
If you know, the Greenland and Iceland, the difference is that Iceland is green and Greenland is ice. Like, that's the weird shit.
That's so weird. Yeah, they got very confused.
Yeah.
I think they got a little confused making those here. After the war, it grew... It's an airport. It's an airport town. Okay. It's a refueling stop for transatlantic flights.
Yeah.
So they'd stop there if they were on their way to Vancouver or somewhere on the West Coast. In 2001, on September 11th, for the September 11th attacks, there was a lot of people. They closed all the North American airspace was closed pretty much. So there was a lot of people stuck. So they came up with something called Operation Yellow Ribbon. 38 civilian and 4 military flights that were bound for the U.S. were ordered to land in Gander.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
They were stuck there.
Yeah.
And so these people were stuck in the middle of Newfoundland.
But it's better to be there than over American airspace with F-16 scrambled.
That's absolutely true.
Right.
There was 6,600 passengers and crew members. So that's a lot. 6,600.
They're all just sitting there on the tarmac.
They're all just stranded there.
Yeah.
It's insanity, and it's the third. Apparently, Vancouver had a little bit more, and Halifax had a little bit more.
Okay.
Have to be forced to stay there, but Gander was third. And what they did was they were stuck there for up to 6 days until airspace was reopened.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so what they did, these nice people up in Gander, see, Canadians, your other reputation is that you're the nicest people there are, and this proves it. These people volunteered to house, feed, and take in these people. 6,600
in their
people.
homes.
Yes, which, as we'll get to, is pretty much more than half the population of the town.
That's
so
crazy.
They took in another 50% of their town and just took them in, fed them. A lot of these people were stranded. They didn't have things.
Yeah.
They didn't, who knows if they had money to take care of themselves or stay in a hotel.
If their bags were even on those planes.
Yeah, there's that's who the hell knows. There's a woman here talking about how nice the people were. That she says, "quote Every meal was like an extravaganza. The food, I mean, they were making food at home. We had bakery stuff, buffets of freshly baked goods. It was amazing. It's not even a blur at all. It's very clear to me.
Wow.
Like she said, these people actually had a pleasant time there. They were amazed at how much they liked it.
They got another vacation.
Pretty much, that's what it was for them. That's how they felt like it. Which is 9/11 sucks.
The world is fucked, but
the
at
world
least
is
this
fucked,
place is nice.
And especially if they lived in the U.S.,
Right.
They were coming home going, shit, this is crazy, watching all this shit happen, which had to feel weird from another country, especially from right there, but you can't get home.
But these people all bound together to
made it nice for them.
Give them pity and brotherhood at the same time.
Yes.
That feels so weird to say out loud, brother.
Yeah.
But that's what they were offering.
Yeah,
that's so strange.
That's like actual, real, like that's some human shit right there. Like this is why Canada has a nice reputation.
But we're talking about this town, so somebody was not into feeling the brotherhood.
No, if that happened in the U.S. and we took in any town, there would be like 50 rapes. That somebody from the town raped a bunch of people, and there'd be like a dead lady found in a stream. It would be a fucking mess. So you guys are nice.
Lots of wallets missing, if nothing else.
Jesus, it'd be a mess. These poor people would be going back to Canada with nothing but the shirts on their back. If it was the other way around.
Nothing but their plaid.
That's it, man. Nothing but the plaid on their back and their Newfoundland hairy dog next to them. Most of the streets in Gander are named after aviators. They have Amelia Earhart, Charles Lindbergh, all that kind of sort of thing. Chuck Yeager. It's an airport town. Okay. So everything is based around the airport. Population of this town, and we're going to get into the stats here. We're going to buzz through the stats pretty quick. Okay. First of all, not as easy to find Canadian,
I'm sure,
small Canadian, middle of nowhere town stats as it is American town stats. So I did my best, and I found what I can find, and there's some conflicting information. We'll talk about it. But what I do know is there is 11,688 people there as of 2016. Okay. That I am positive about. So not a very big town. Middle of nowhere, and half the people work at the damn airport.
Really?
It's just one of those places. That's
most
all
of
that's
there. Yeah,
pretty much.
It's like their airport is like the railroad is here.
Yeah,
like that's what gets.
That's what it is.
But it's because there's no way to put a railroad in there because there's so much water.
It's up there, and I'm sure they have
frozen
and lakes. There's a lot of lakes in Newfoundland too, especially on this island. A lot of lakes, a lot of natural bodies of water. I'm sure it's beautiful too. I've seen the pictures. It's gorgeous up there. I mean, it is like if you want to go, I don't know, fishing, or you want to go, you do something outdoors, you go, that's the place right there. Right. That's the clean, cool air. You know what I mean? Now, some of these stats here, like in the U.S., I do married stats. Here they have married or living with common law partner.
Oh, they got common law and they count that shit.
They count that. So that's 65% of the population in Gander is married or living, which is slightly higher than in the rest of the province. Median age of these people is 41.1, which is it's older than a U.S. town, which is 37. But in this province, the average age is 44 in Newfoundland.
So they're skewing young.
It's actually skewing a little young. Okay. On race, I'm looking at the race stats, and it is excessively white. Yeah. It is 97.4% white, which is honestly what you'd expect.
Maybe four Eskimos.
Not knowing anything about Canada, we would just go, a lot of white people. Happy white people, plaid, cold. Yeah, that's what we think. Not too much of anybody else, really. 0.5% black. So I mean, that's I don't know.
Out of 11,000, that's not
a lot
many.
of people. Not a lot of people at all. Things like that. It's really not a lot. It's white. Let's just call it white.
In the 90s, I mean, it's fucking white.
That's super white. 97.4.
It's as white as it is snowy.
Yeah. If someone tells you something and someone sells you something and they're like, it's 97.4%, whatever. You're like,
97.4% juice. Cool. That's grape juice to me.
Yeah, whatever else is in there, whatever, it's fine.
Give a fuck.
That's it. So that's what it is. So you guys, all juice.
That's a good way to put it.
All juice. That's what it is.
That is 97% alcohol. That's all fucking alcohol.
That's alcohol. Yeah, don't drink that. Jesus, you're going to die. In May 2007, Money Sense magazine ranked Gander as the 10th best place to live in Canada.
Wow.
So Riz, they rank the communities strictly using 12 measurable factors, including weather, real estate values, income levels, unemployment rates, discretionary income, murder rates, and signs of prosperity such as percentage of late model vehicles. So that seems like it's pretty thorough, actually.
And an airport with the ability to get the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's nice too.
That's not bad.
The other thing is that was ranked 10 different areas to live in Canada. I didn't know there was 10 different areas to live in Canada.
We named the cities, and then apparently these little towns
I think
count.
we got to 8.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know. We don't know. I don't know little towns at all. That's the sad part. But they apparently looked at all of them.
They looked at
they found this town.
All 13 of them, and they were like, let's rank 10.
Which makes sense, too, because the unemployment rate there is 11%, which seems high from the U.S. standpoint.
Kind of, yeah.
But in Newfoundland, it's 18.6%.
Holy shit.
I don't think there's a lot a lot of places to work, really, in some of these places. It's a lot of rural. Yeah. It's a lot of things like that.
That's 1 in 5 people are unemployed?
Yeah. Here it's 11%, though, because I feel like the airport is a place where it's like, well, if you have no job, you can always go work at the airport. Yeah. They'll do it there. Also,
but Newfoundland entirely, it's 18%.
It's 18.6%.
Jesus.
So almost 19%. Before we get into the earnings here and what people make, the income levels here, I got to do the conversion rate here. Yeah. $1 Canadian equals 77 cents in the United States.
They're worth more than us now?
They're worth less than us because a dollar is worth 77 cents.
Oh, I get it.
So
now.
Jesus, we're valued higher. So it's no, that's okay. It's so that's how you can look at this if people in the U.S. are listening.
We're 77% worth more. Is that how it is?
No,
we're 24, 23.
You can buy a Canadian. Look at it this way: you can buy a Canadian dollar
for 77 cents. Right,
so
gotcha.
That tells you right there.
We're
doing a little better on it, which is actually
because we've always
better than it used to be.
Right, we've always been worth more, but it was much more.
Yeah, we used to be worth more than the pound too.
Yeah, right. But if you got one of those fucking beaver buck change dimes things in your fucking change at the. You're better off throwing that shit right in their face.
It's just going to keep confusing you. Yeah, throw it out the window on the way out. But not anymore, apparently. That's going to be worth 3/4 of what it should be worth.
That's great.
The average household income here is $80,152 Canadian, which it's U.S. It's about $53,000. So that's pretty high. In the area, the average is like in the province, the average is $55,000. So this is way higher. Like they're doing well up here. Good disposable amount of income, high retail sales numbers. Like it seems to be kind of a booming thing here. The jobs, though, when you look at the jobs, it is mostly sales and services and retail. About 50% of the jobs are either sales and services or retail. So that tells you right there. It's not a lot of. There's a lot of like go in that store and get behind that cash register type of jobs.
There's a lot of go buy shoes at a shoe store. There's a lot of just. It's a normal little town.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if we've convinced you to move to Gander, it sounds wonderful. You want to get yourself a big dog and a pipe and a plaid shirt and sit there. We have the Gander real estate report for you right now. I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's like a vinyl siding. I don't know. Looks depressing. 259,000 Canadian. I found a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 840 square foot little house for $179,900, which is recently reduced $9,000. So get on that. That's a deal. And then I found a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,300 square foot, really nice family home, $324,900.
And that's like $200,000 here.
That's 3/4 of that, whatever that is, and that's recently reduced about $15,000 too. So you guys jump on that deal right now if you're in Gander.
You got some beaver bucks to save.
Oh baby, things to do in Gander. Oh man, so many things to do. Think about it. You can look at the ocean. You can stare at the lake.
You can help people that are stranded.
You can walk around the airport. There's a lot of shit to do. There's a lot of shit to do. You can go to the North Atlantic Aviation Museum.
I'm in. That I'll go look at.
Guys, if you're in need of entertainment, what do you do up there for entertainment in Newfoundland?
What is that?
Besides look at the plains land, you can go to the Beyond the Overpass Theater Company, which it's, quote, Central Newfoundland's only professional theater festival. Laughter and thrills on stage all summer long. This season, we bring you comedy, thriller, drama, mystery, and music. Join us for a season to remember.
You
Guys,
betcha.
Get your asses up there and watch some shitty dinner theater. Enjoy. That's a top
And if you get
activity.
lost and can't find it, it's just over there, right beyond the overpass. It's just right there.
It's just past, it's just beyond, just beyond it. You can't miss it. It's right there. I wonder if everything there is just in terms of it. It's like right by the airport on the west side of the airport. Everything just airport adjacent. They just say it, I think. Crime rates here. I cannot find the exact crime rates of this place.
Really?
It is so hard. I looked up and down, left and right.
They're
I'm
so
sure
nice.
they're out there
They
everywhere.
just don't want to spread
so
rumors.
nice. I can't find the exact rates, but what I could find was numerous articles touting how low the crime rate was there and how much lower it was than the average of everything else around it.
Maybe they just don't have any to report.
It is not. Yeah, there's not a lot of crime, especially the violent crime there. There is very low murder rates. They're nice people. They'll take you into their goddamn home. Nice people.
At least one.
Let's talk about some people from Gander, shall we? First of all, let's talk about Jennifer Hicks.
Okay.
Jennifer Hicks, she's the youngest of 6 kids.
Yeah.
She has 2 brothers, 3 sisters. She grows up in Musgrave Harbor, which sounds like a Canadian town.
You bet.
If you said name a Canadian town that's not a major city that you got, Musgrave Harbor, I guess. I don't know. Sounds like a Canadian town. It's a town of about 1,000 people outside of Gander by about an hour. Her father died when she was a teenager. He used to work on dragger boats. I don't know what that is exactly.
It's a fishing boat.
I assume it's something you drag and get fish or
drags nets, probably catch a shrimp or something.
You catch a Labrador in there. I don't know exactly what you do, but her mother was a home care worker who died as she became an adult. In 1997, she moves with her sister to Gander. So they were going to get out of this Musgrave Harbor here. Let's move to the big town of Gander.
You bet.
It's a step up.
What year did they do this?
This is 1997. Okay. They move here in the summer of 97. As we know, the airport's there, and that's the main deal here. The hub. The sisters are planning on taking a business administration course there. Jennifer actually did not graduate high school. She has no high school diploma. She made it to grade 10. Okay. So she was going to get her high school diploma, and then her and her sister were taking business administration courses. That was the point of moving to the bigger town.
Okay. So she fucked up. She just needed a new change of scenery.
That's what it is. She needs a change. It's two sisters. Their parents are dead. They're like, what are we sitting in this town for? Let's go to school and try to make something of ourselves.
I can't imagine both my parents being dead when I'm 16 years old.
Miserable. The whole thing.
She's lucky she's where she is. Yeah. She could be so fucked up.
People can take her in now, and she's in Gander.
She's going somewhere amazing.
It's a perfect place.
The food is going to be an extravagance. Do you remember?
Yeah, no shit. Everyone remembers it. Yeah. Buffets of baked goods. Yeah. So she, at this point, rather than getting her high school diploma, she meets a guy.
Okay.
She meets a man named Nelson Lloyd Hart.
Fucking Nelson.
And we'll talk about Nelson here. Yeah. He's the eldest of 3 sons. He has a bit of a troubled childhood, not in terms of being in trouble, but in terms of illness. He's 9 months old when he had a really high fever, and this fever triggered epileptic seizures in him. And his father has epileptic seizures, and it triggered this illness, and it never went away after that.
That stuff is terrible, man.
It's awful. I mean, I can't imagine.
I got a buddy that has it. He has to wear a bracelet in case he seizes up in public so that they know what he has, what's going on.
So you know what the hell's wrong with him. Yeah, you don't just fucking lock him up and put him in a straitjacket.
Shit is so scary.
It's insane. Yeah, I've been around people with seizures. It's the worst.
I've seen them. It's horrible. They're really scary.
It's really bad. His mother, Pearl, we'll hear a lot from Pearl over this. His mother recalls him having seizures as an infant with his eyes, turning around in his head, foaming at the mouth, his tongue hanging out.
Good grief.
It's so bad. And she said this prevented him from being normal, having a normal childhood, as you would expect. It really was. She said, quote, he was always deprived of a lot of things, and he was always a little bitter.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I could see that. His schoolmates, nobody wanted to hang out with him. They'd tease him. They call him ugly. He just, not only physically, too, he's a heavy-set guy, not very attractive, and he's having epileptic seizures. So if you're a child, you don't want to hang out with this guy because kids are mean and kids
are
just
fucking cruel.
They just don't want to. They don't want to hang out with anybody different. And this guy is different. This kid is different in 5 different ways.
Yeah.
By the age of 12, he was going on his 3rd year in the 5th grade. 3rd year in the 5th grade.
5th grade.
That is brutal.
When kids learn how to make fun of kids.
That's what I mean. And it's the worst time. And now he's like 2 years older than the other kids. They're probably making fun of him for now being stupid in addition to being sick and fat and everything else. Now you're an idiot, too. And all the kids are going to make fun of you.
You're 13 in 5th grade.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Brutal.
It's brutal. It really is. And it was the size of him. I mean, you stand out at that age.
Yeah.
She said...
he's got a mustache, for Pete's sake. This is not a good thing.
A real bad mustache, too. Like a bad teenager mustache. He's the only 5th grader who's jerking off constantly. Constantly masturbating on everything. They're like, this kid is way too deep into puberty to be here. His mother agreed with the school officials that there's no point in this.
Right.
So she kept him home. In the
Homeschooling?
5th grade. Oh, no, just kept him home.
What?
Just hanging out. They
You
just
can't
said,
do
he
that.
doesn't need school anymore.
No.
She said, quote, to look at him, he was healthy. You couldn't see into his brain.
Yeah.
So she just gave up. He lost his driver's license several times due to his condition. He eventually gets medication that allows him to keep driving, that keeps us under control a little bit.
You mean the driver's license he got in 7th grade?
Yeah, exactly. If he went to 7th grade.
Fucking crazy.
His mother said that he believed his driver's license was the only thing in the world he had going for him. So he never wanted to go to the hospital when he had serious seizures because he was always afraid that the doctors were going to make...
It's more paperwork.
He was going to get it revoked. He was going to get his license revoked. So he would try to hide the seizures, which is a terrible thing to do here. By his mid-20s, he's jobless. He's living at home with his mom, Pearl. And, he's a 5th grade education. Shit. This guy's life is not going well for him, right? No. This is not what what you dream about for your child at all.
Yeah.
It really isn't. It's tough. Now, Pearl at this point, a man moves in. She has a relationship.
Okay.
She has a common law husband. And he moves in, and he doesn't like it at all. Nelson does not like it at all and threatens to kill him. Yes, Nelson threatens to kill the common law stepdad.
You don't get to do that, Nelson.
Not great at all. Now that's going to it's going to stand out a little bit as a red flag. So the common law, the stepfather here decides maybe he should move out. What do you think? He just threatened to kill me. Yeah. He's really not doing anything productive.
Right.
Maybe we should kick him out.
He's 20.
Yeah. His mother just said, quote, he was sort of a child in a man's body, which makes sense because he only went to the 5th grade.
Pearl, that's kind of your fault, too.
And you know? Exactly. I mean, you could have done something, Pearl.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't know what her life was like, and I don't know what kind of knowledge she had. I don't know the wherewithal she had or the ability to do anything or anything like that. But you got to try harder for your goddamn kids to just pull them out in the 5th grade and go, okay, Nelson, sit at home. You can't do that,
when he's
man.
20, you got to look in the rear view and go, I kind of Norman Bates'd him. Like this is not a good way to raise a kid.
That's exactly right. His seizures kept happening worse and worse and worse. They became so severe that in October of 1997, the provincial government out there in Newfoundland arranged for him to receive live-in care.
Okay.
Now, this is a point of contention. I've read several different things. I've read 100 different things about this, and half of them say this and half of them say the other thing.
Okay.
This makes sense to me, but we'll see here. Apparently, the live-in care that they received turned out to be Jennifer Hicks.
Okay.
She was the live-in care person.
She was the nurse.
At this point. She was the nurse, and So Hart, Nelson, he liked her, obviously. But how many girls do you think this guy meets?
He's
how
met
many women
4
does
in
he
his
meet?
life, you know what I mean? And
his
3
mom,
of them were mean to
his
him.
5th grade teacher.
Right.
He does not meet women. He doesn't go out. He doesn't go to the club party. He doesn't have a job where he can meet anybody. So if a woman comes into his home and is semi-attractive to him, he's going to be all over that shit.
He's my favorite person in the world.
Yeah, and before long, apparently, him and Jennifer hooked up.
Oh, boy.
They were together. So this... Honestly, I've never expected him to find any woman at all that would be with him, but she found someone he found someone. And this caused Jennifer to lose her home care job because she's not allowed to date patients.
I can imagine.
That seems fair.
That seems like a conflict of interest.
Yeah, I would say that I can see. That's the first thing I'm like, that makes perfect sense. Now, so this means both of them are now on social assistance because he was on social assistance before.
To afford her.
Just to buy food.
Right.
And now she is also there. There's also an alternate side of this that says that they lived in the same apartment complex and bumped into each other and became friends and hooked up that way, which I believe this live-in care story more because I can't imagine him being able to socially approach a woman in an apartment complex and do well enough to end up hooking up with her.
Right. This is that scenario implies that a man that has a 5th grade education and has epilepsy also has unbelievable game.
He's got game. He spits some game. Yeah. That's all it is. He's walking through the apartment complex too. You got to have good game.
Let me holler at you. No.
The fact that she would come over every day against, being paid to
you almost said
against her will. Yeah,
right.
she didn't say I'm going to go over to Nelson's house. She's like, this is my job, and then kind of maybe get to know him and see he's a little sweet. And also, as we'll find out from Jennifer, she's really nice. I feel like she might feel bad for him. She's also very gullible, which she's from some tiny town in Newfoundland.
Right.
It's less than 1,000 people in a town in the middle of nowhere.
She's not
worldly.
Dead.
She's not worldly, this girl at all. And she dropped out in the 10th grade.
Right.
She's not a worldly person.
She's not well-traveled.
Absolutely. So soon they hook up, and she becomes pregnant.
Oh, my God.
He got her pregnant, Hart Nelson. So that works. So everything else in his body might not work.
This
but
guy.
The sperm is swimming, boy. Let me tell you something. Hey, everybody, just going to break away for one moment to tell you about our sponsor, Blue Apron. If you haven't tried Blue Apron yet, what are you waiting for? Blue Apron is the #1 fresh ingredient and recipes delivery service in the entire country of the United States. It's terrific. It's the best. You get this box of wonderful food every single week, filled with anything you like, either meats and your vegetables and all the spices and every last little thing you will need to prepare these meals. The meals are delicious, first of all. The recipes are creative, stuff you'd never think to make at home, but you can make it easily with this. You should cook at home. Cook at home. Just do it. And this is the easy way to do it with Blue Apron. They give you everything you need. Each meal takes less than 40 minutes to prepare. You can get your meals for less than $10 per meal, which is terrific. That's less than you're going to spend getting some fast food that's terrible for you and that you won't be cooking together, forming bonds with your family like you would be if you were cooking with Blue Apron. You have to try it today. Not all ingredients are created equal. Remember that, folks, and they use the best ingredients here. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/small. You will love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron, so don't wait. That's blueapron.com/small. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
And now back to the show. I'm kind of proud of him at this point. I mean,
he found a woman that would tolerate him, and
but here's the thing: they're both on government assistance, and now they got a child in the life. Jesus,
not just a child.
Oh my God,
she is pregnant with twins.
No,
twins, which is the worst scenario for this.
That's the hardest way to get through life.
The hardest way, especially if you have nothing.
Oh my God!
Apparently, this terrified Nelson.
Of course,
he was worried that the kids would also have epilepsy. Mm-hmm. So he was very concerned about that because he got it from his dad's family. Yeah. So he was very concerned, shit, I'm going to have these kids seizing up all over the place.
Right.
And he's not healthy, and he has no money, and he's very worried about how the hell he's going to take care of her, of everybody,
all
of
three
the kids,
of them.
Everybody. Yeah. He's a big guy, too. By this point, he's a big guy. He's about 6 years older than Jennifer, too.
Okay.
And she's about 5'5", she's petite, and he's 300 pounds.
Holy
he's a
shit.
big dude, and he's balding.
What?
He's a big, balding, heavy-set, epileptic guy. So, and now he's got twins coming and no prospects and no way of taking care of them.
Yeah, not to turn it into like a vanity thing, but is this a cute girl?
It doesn't matter, honestly. It doesn't matter, and I don't know, honestly, because I didn't see pictures of her back then.
I'm just fascinated by this right now.
It's insane. It's insane. She's a nice person.
She's a tiny young girl,
nice person,
clearly and incredibly gullible.
And and also too, she's got some gumption to try to change her life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that sort of thing.
She's got a drive to try, at least.
Yeah, that's what it is. And
now she's pregnant with 2 kids.
The mother, Pearl, his mother, says still that seizures controlled his life.
Yeah.
And this also made him suffer from depression.
Yeah.
Same thing. After a while, this relationship progresses. She's pregnant. All this is going on. You would think that he would be happy, and maybe this would get him to a better place in his life. You would imagine. Well, I mean, just to the fact that he's going to have twins, which most people, if you're going to have kids, it's kind of an exciting thing.
Listen, I had a job. My wife was pregnant with our first kid, just one. I was sweating bullets. I was losing my fucking mind.
But you also weren't a 300-pound epileptic with a 5th-grade education that probably never thought he would have a wife, a family, anybody that would even want to. He probably didn't even think he'd have a friend, this guy.
Yeah, no doubt.
And now he found a woman who's willing to be with him and have his children. So, I mean, in that point, he's got to at least feel like he's being accepted by something or somebody. But it's so weird, too. He was a nice guy outside of threatening the common-law husband with murder, his mother's husband. But after this, he starts getting a little different. Jennifer said, quote, "It was after he got me, he turned around. He started getting violent and all this kind of stuff, getting mad and smashing up furniture. He was a jealous and violent person." So this comes out of nowhere. She didn't expect this. She was working at the Albatross Motel.
Yeah.
She was cleaning and working the desk and that sort of thing. Just, that's the job that she could get around there. And she's trying to support her goddamn family and this fat bastard here.
Yeah, sure.
So she's doing that. He didn't like her working there. Didn't like it at all. He would wait for her in the parking lot. Didn't like her working there. That was no good. And then when she'd go out, he'd wait for her in the parking lot of the mall while she went shopping.
Oh, no.
Things like that. Like, he's very, very jealous.
And controlling.
One time he put a knife to his own throat and vowed to take his own life, and it's insane. And telling her that she would be blamed for it. It's like, if I kill myself, they're going to blame you for murdering me. I have a knife and blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, he's trying to be controlling.
Yeah.
Controlling is a big thing for him because, honestly, probably, too, he's never had a control of a goddamn thing in his entire life, including whether he can sit there and not shake violently.
And
so I can see this.
He's never had a girl in his life either, and he doesn't want to lose it.
He doesn't know how to treat people.
Right.
And he doesn't know how to treat people. And not being around, not having any social interaction past the 5th grade, you don't know how to treat people. And I'm not making an excuse for his behavior whatsoever. No. Don't treat people like this. Ahead of time. I'm sure his mom said, hey, don't threaten women.
Right.
I'm sure at some point his mom said that, or he's heard that, or he saw it on a TV show or something. It's not that. I'm just saying he hasn't had the practical practice at this of actually interacting with people and knowing how to not drive them away from them. Jennifer was super excited about the twins. They found out 5 months in, and she was super excited.
5 months in, she found out
that she had twins going on.
Okay, there was
brewing
twins.
And percolating in there. Not 5 months after being pregnant.
Okay.
Only in America, only in America would that happen. Yeah. It'll end up in a dumpster outside of a prom somewhere. So she's super excited about it. Nelson is not so much excited about it. He's kind of being unemotional about the whole thing. Now, the girls are born in March of 1999. Okay. 2 little girls, both girls. His mother Pearl said that Nelson was worried that if he had a seizure with
while
the babies on him,
it
causes his hands to clench up. He was afraid that he would hurt them, even if not drop them. But he was afraid even if someone took them, maybe he would clench up and he would crush them or something like that.
I can't imagine the amount of fear going through his head with everything.
Otherwise, she's healthy, good pregnancy, everything goes on fine. March 9th, 1999, they had the 2 little girls, Karen and Krista.
Oh.
Karen's the elder by 2 minutes. She was 5 pounds, 8 ounces, and the other Krista was over 6 pounds.
Wow.
So a couple of nice, good
sized
kids. Yeah, they're growing them big up there.
A 5'5" girl did that.
5'5" girl.
Amazing.
Pumped that out. So good for
her.
you. Good for you, Jennifer. Jennifer's tough, man.
Yeah.
I like this lady.
A strong girl.
They're delivered C-section to not kill her,
of course.
which is good.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
To not kill her.
Krista, the
second one.
She's the second one, but the heavier one. She is the bigger personality. She's very bossy. She's the one who's like, we're doing this, and that's it, and directs the other one around, which a lot of times with twins, that's how it is.
All right.
They were very close, though. They dressed them exactly the same.
Ugh.
The girls wanted to be dressed exactly the same, too. They liked it. They thought it was cool.
Well, that's fine, then.
They were just happy-go-lucky kids that thought it was neat that they looked exactly alike. That's all it was. March of 2000, they get married.
Okay.
Local justice of the peace, they get married. So that's a nice, once you have twins, maybe you should probably worry about, let's get married. What the hell? Why not?
You generally figure that out before the kids, but in the event that it happens, whatever. As long as as long as there's a happy ending, I don't give a shit.
Exactly. Right. They didn't make a big deal out of it, too. There's just a casual thing. Jennifer said she wore jeans and a T-shirt.
That's nice.
Down to justice of the peace, whatever. He wanted to be married, Nelson. His mother said that all he ever wanted out of life was, quote, to work and have a family. That's all he says he ever wanted.
Okay.
Now,
well, he's got one of those right now.
Absolutely. Now, before this, in 1998, he broke his neck in a car accident.
Holy shit.
Didn't cripple him or anything, but he had a broken neck. It broke a vertebrae in his neck in a car accident. And right after the kids were born, he receives a $25,000 insurance claim.
Wow.
On the whole thing. So he's excited. They can kind of get settled a little bit. That's a nice, they bought a bed, they bought an armoire, a table set, clothes for the newborns, things like that, just to get yourself set up and ready. And
they used it smartly.
Yeah, he didn't piss it away yet.
Didn't go get her boobs or any shit like that. Right.
Not boobs. Boobs will not happen. I can tell you that right now. No one's getting boobs in this entire story.
Nobody's getting braces.
No braces, no boobs. We'll get into that.
Okay.
Social services, though, because they were on assistance, they would come and check the kids. They found out about the insurance claim, and they forced him to sell everything he had bought with it and give the money back.
What?
And give it to them. Relinquish the money.
That's not very cool.
I don't understand how that works. I don't know Canadian laws, but his mother said that's when everything started going downhill. The social services after that, because they were, not being able to provide for their kids, was threatening to remove the children. Yeah. They told Jennifer that she's going to have to make a choice between the girls and Nelson. They did this. Nelson's brother, Melvin, offers to take them in. Yeah. Only not him. Just Jennifer and the babies, not him. So
how bad must that feel?
That's rough.
Looking at everything right now, Nelson really gets fucked with a lot by everybody.
He does.
He's getting government assistance.
Yeah.
He gets in an accident. He gets insurance money, and then the government says you're not entitled to that.
You're
That's
not
fucked
entitled
up.
to it. Yeah, it's messed up. But he's also an asshole too. He doesn't. She says this whole time that he doesn't pay any attention to the twins, and he seems to resent them. And she remembers when they were about a year old, she was feeding them, and Nelson comes in the room and wanted something from her, and she was like, I'm feeding 2 kids right now. He said, quote, "You care more about them youngsters than you do me." Yeah, motherfucker, that's how it works, asshole. Yeah, they came out of my fucking body. They're my kids. This is how it works. You're supposed to care more about your kids,
They
asshole.
can't take care of themselves, you
No,
moron.
they're a year fucking old. You're a grown man.
You're an adult.
Yeah, you fat fuck. Go do
Make
something
yourself
with yourself.
some soup, you
Jesus
fuck.
Christ. Oh, that makes me mad. Another time, she said he kicked his foot through the door of one of the kids' rooms because they wouldn't stop crying. So he kicks a hole in their door, which that'll get them to stop crying.
That's going to make them cry more because you just scared the fuck out of them.
She said he never hit them, but was always mean to them.
Yeah, and violent.
He gambled. He begins gambling. At one point, whatever furniture they had, he sold.
Yeah.
He would cash the family's social assistance checks. He said he would go over to Jennifer said he would go over to a local pub and play the machines there. And he would go there, quote, he would go there when the doors opened and wouldn't leave until the machine shut down around 2:30 a.m.
Wow.
So he's just gambling any time they might have and any chance they might have to build a stable environment for their family, he's going to piss it away. So this is all a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously. Nelson is a mess.
He's unraveled.
Yeah. He's clearly not taking the responsibility of a family seriously. I don't know what his condition has to do with it or anything like that, but he's doing a shit job of being a dad and a husband at this very moment in time. On August 4th, 2002, Jennifer's getting ready to take her twin daughters, both of them here, to the Demolition Derby. Okay? They're going to the Demolition Derby. The Demolition Derby is part of a big festival that they're having there. It's the Festival of Flight they're having, and it's got all sorts of shit, and it's their big Gander festival. Right. I didn't mention it in the things to do because I was going to talk about it now.
Gotcha.
So they're there. They're going to go to the Demolition Derby. It's a very nice sunny morning. The kids, Krista and Karen, they're dressed nice, ready to go. They're apparently they like getting ready and stuff, so they're like not a mess or anything.
They're
like
girls.
That. They're girls,
right.
And they're girly girls like that. So they're ready to go. Out of nowhere, Nelson, who doesn't do shit with the girls ever, it just doesn't care. He offers to take them to the park because Jennifer said she needed about 45 minutes. She got the kids all ready. She needed to take a bath and get her makeup on, get ready to go out for the day. You know what I mean? She took care of the kids first. So he says out of nowhere, "Hey, I'll take them to the park." Well, you do that. That seems like a nice thing. And she's like, "Fuck, that's helpful. Yeah, that'd be great. They won't be running around my feet. Wow, this is
all of a sudden you give a shit."
Yeah, Jennifer said about it, quote, "He didn't seem contrary or nothing like that. I said, all right, you can take them." You can tell exactly how these people talk by the two quotes we've had from each of them. They're like, "Hey, they care about them youngins more than me." So it's one of those things. It's like, this is very Alabama, Canada here. This is
nothing.
It doesn't sound contrary or nothing. So it's one of those things, not to make fun of her, but you know how it is here. So she lets them go. They set out. They go to Little Harbor, which is right near there. It's a little town right on the lake. It's real close. It's about 10 kilometers away. So that's close. A few miles away.
6 miles.
Yeah, exactly. So he goes. She starts getting ready. The kids really wanted to play on the swing sets. Apparently, they just built a swing set there.
Oh.
It's right by the lake, and there's a little park, and they built a swing set, and the girls were, like, singing about the swings. Like, "We want to go on swings,
Oh, that is
swings."
adorable.
How do you not take the kids on the goddamn swings? Anybody would take the kids on the swings. So maybe Jennifer thinks, you know what, he's finally getting melted by these little girls. They're melting his heart, and I'd take him on the swings, too. Yeah. Fine, go. But there's a problem. 20 minutes later, he comes back. And the girls aren't with him.
No kids.
That's a problem.
Not good.
That's not great. He tells her, this is his story that comes out later, and we'll get into the details of the whole thing. He tells the police that he saw one of his daughters fall in the water. He's unable to swim. He can't swim at all.
So he threw the other in?
So what he says is he jumped into his gray Dodge Shadow and drove for help. Drove for help.
That's not what you do.
No. Also, by the way, has a cell phone in his car.
Okay.
Doesn't call for help.
No
he
calls.
gets in his car. He drives for help and arrives home. That's where he goes for help. Home.
That's not where
to his house.
10 kilometers away.
Yes. Unbelievable. Jennifer said, quote, "He said that Krista was in the water and he drove all that way and never called nobody and never done nothing about it. I asked him where Karen was, and when I got in the car, Karen wasn't there."
Oh, my God.
So she thought you have one of them at least.
Yeah.
No, he said he's like, "Oh, no, I just left her at the park too."
She's on the swings.
Yeah. Like
she was singing.
So Jennifer's freaking out. They arrive.
Yeah.
This is the most horrible. Imagine the feeling in this poor woman.
I have it right now.
Yeah, we both have kids.
Yeah.
I mean, we both have 2 kids, and this is insane. This is your biggest nightmare.
This is not how you react to one of them being injured either.
This is why you don't want to. You let your kids out of your sight because you worry about crazy shit like this happening.
Yeah.
So it's so bad. So they arrive at Little Harbor at the park there on Gander Lake, and the first thing they see is by the wharf, Krista is floating face down.
Fuck.
So she is dead in the water.
That's over.
Actually, the ambulance got there. She was still alive. She was floating face down, but she was still alive. Karen, the other little girl, was pronounced dead at the scene.
Where was she?
They found her in the water. She was
God.
She wasn't floating right there. They found her. Krista held on at the hospital, and she died the next day at the hospital, which is... I don't even know what to say. Again, I would say this all the time, but it's like, what the fuck do you even say about that? These are 2 3-year-old girls. Like, you can't get any worse than this. This is fucking horrific. Now, his story on the whole thing is he said when he got there, he took Krista out of the back seat and put her on the ground and then got Karen out. And he said just as he put Karen down outside the car, he shut the door and he said he had a massive seizure. That's his story. He said he recalled one of the girls running, but he can't remember whether she was running toward him, running toward the water. He said, and this is the mother said too, the twins were very frightened of seizures when he had them, which I don't blame them, these poor kids. And, they would hide from him if he had one at home. They would go run and hide because they were scared. They didn't want to see anything happen to their dad.
I've seen a grown adult have one before. They're fucking scary.
It's scary for a 3-year-old, and it's your dad. I can't imagine. He said he thinks he saw Krista go into the water, he said, but the fit, he said he was all confused and out of it from the seizure. He said, quote, all I could picture was Jennifer. Where's Jennifer? I couldn't see her, but I could see her, but I couldn't get to her. So he was like having whatever he said, delusions, basically. He says he knows he got behind the wheel of his car, but doesn't remember driving home. He said, quote, by this time, I was starting to come around to my real senses. I said, oh my God, Karen's there too. He says as he went back, got Jennifer, as he sped back, he said, she said it didn't even seem like Nelson was going fast enough, but he had his foot but she was like, let's go faster.
Shadow. I mean, let's be honest. It's not going to go very fast.
No, it's as fast as a Dodge Shadow goes. Right. She said that they found Krista in the water, which unbelievable. Jennifer couldn't swim either. So she couldn't even. She started
3.
She started searching for Karen.
Jennifer. The wife didn't know how to swim either. What the fuck is going on here? So she shows up and she can't find Karen. And rather than diving in and looking for her, she has to go walk around the woods looking for her, hoping she's there. While she's looking for Karen, Nelson goes to a nearby gas station and calls authorities there. I don't know what happened to his phone. Yeah.
Police obviously came, and they obviously had some questions for him. He says as they got there that he suffered a second seizure of the day, and he said, quote, I loved my daughters, my own flesh and blood. There are times when I cry, and cry. Well, you should cry all the time about that, you asshole. Now, after this happened, Jennifer stays with him. They have, obviously problems, but she stays with them. She says she barely remembers the funeral. Imagine planning a funeral for 3-year-olds. 3-year-olds. She had to go buy them shoes to wear at their funeral. Like, imagine that. Unreal. It's unreal. And they have, like, what they want. I can't even say it because it's too much. It's honestly just too much for me to even get it out. Like, what? It's too...
She bought dresses and shoes and all that shit?
Yeah. Winnie the Pooh sandals, Jimmy.
Oh, fucking hell.
How fucking sad is that?
Jesus.
Doesn't that just make it worse somehow?
Yeah, a little
they're
bit.
So fucking little, these kids. They're so... Jesus Christ.
Spring
it's too
clothes.
much. That's sickening. It's honestly making me sick.
The funnest time of the year, and those are the clothes they have to wear forever now.
Unreal,
What
man.
a scumbag.
Unreal. It's ridiculous. A few days after the deaths, Nelson throws out all their clothes, all their stuffed animals, pictures, everything.
No.
Everything.
You don't do that.
But they're doing an investigation, and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police retrieve all that stuff from the dumpster. They get that. They actually, there's a false story in the St. John's Telegram that says that they're going to charge him criminally with this, and then they run a correction the next day saying the police have started a criminal investigation but haven't identified a subject.
Gotcha.
Sounds like somebody put off-the-record shit in the paper.
Yeah.
It sounds like to me.
Somebody fucked up.
For now, though, no charges are filed.
Okay.
No charges are filed. 3 years go by.
Okay.
3 years go by. February 2005.
3 years of him throwing shit away.
3 years of him after he threw the shit away. She's still with him.
What?
She's still with him.
She's not, like...
My wife asked so many questions when I did nothing wrong. You know what I mean?
I feel like Jennifer's not that bright, if I'm going to be honest with everybody here. I feel like Jennifer's just a little simple. Yeah. Not that bright. I feel like she's simple, and she's just not... she's like Forrest Gump. She just takes whatever he says as gospel and goes, all right, well, that's a really shitty situation. It's ridiculous. That's awful. They're living in Grand Falls, which is about an hour away, and a man shows up. They meet a man. He's approached by just some man in the street named Steph Suave. This is this guy's name, which right away, there. This guy said he's looking for his missing sister. Okay, this is, like I said, this is February 2005. He's a French-Canadian guy, described as a, quote, swarthy French-Canadian. He pulls up. Isn't swarthy a negative thing? Oh, yeah. He's a little shady. He pulls up, asks for directions, pulls out a photograph of a young woman with blonde hair, saying this is his sister. He said that she's a drug addict and she gambles at the local bars, because they know he does, as she knows he does. Steph Suave tells them that like I said, it's his sister, and their mother is dying of lung cancer in Montreal and wanted to see the daughter before she died. Okay. So this sounds a pretty heart-tugging story. Legit. Suave says, look, if you know where if you can help me find her, I'm not from this town. If you can help me find her, I'll give you $50. Okay. They could use $50. Hart said that could go toward a bed, is what Hart said to him. Nelson said to himself. Okay. He still couldn't find the sister. They looked all around. Suave gave him the $50 anyway and gave him a carton of cigarettes. And said, if I give you this, will you search another town for me? And he said, yeah, sure, what the hell? Jennifer thought it was a little strange, but Nelson said, no, he's legit. And they said, all right, fine. Out of nowhere now, Suave started using him for other things. He started talking about this mysterious big boss he has. He's saying he's a gangster, and he has this all-powerful boss that needs work done for him. It's really weird. The next day, after he didn't find her in both towns, Suave asks Nelson if he offers him more money and says, will you collect a package, take it from my hotel, take this package, and will you deliver it to somewhere? This story just got so weird. It got so weird. Nelson suspected there's drugs in the package, but he does it anyway. After a while, though, nothing happened. Suave is giving him all sorts of odd jobs, just different things. He said that he had a group of associates. They ran a trucking outfit and handed Hart business cards with the name on it. It was BCW Transport, complete had a Toronto address, the whole deal. They had Nelson cart a ski-doo in a U-Haul to another town. A man signed an invoice, the whole deal. Like a water ski? Yeah, like a ski-doo, like a water ski. Ski-doo. Yeah, ski-doo. Sea-doo. It says I have ski-doo. Okay. In the actual documents of the court documents. It might be a ski-doo. I know they're called sea-doos, but they called it a ski-doo in court. Right. So I said ski-doo like a fucking moron. It's a sea-doo. Anyway, also had him drive a brand new Pontiac Grand Am somewhere. This is so weird. Yeah. Over a few months, Nelson had earned more than $15,000 working for this guy. Whoa. Also, too, they were taking both of them. They were taking Jennifer out to dinner with them. They were going out to dinners. Nelson would take Jennifer to like a fancy hotel for the weekend because he had money in his pocket. It was crazy. He bought a headstone, actually, engraved with two angels for them. That was $4,000. That was the whole deal. She had a Winnie the Pooh dolls encased in waterproof plastic cubes by the thing, which, whatever, I'm not going to get into that. We both have made the same face. Yeah. It's enough with fucking Winnie the Pooh. Yeah. He paid $6,500 for a used 2000 Pontiac Sunfire, which, this guy loves shit cars. Yeah, he loves them. Oh, my God. That's a fucking Casey Anthony car. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's an awful car. Yeah. It's a mattress for their bed, the whole deal. She's just buying necessities. Yeah. They just said it was he said the Lord finally answered my prayer, he told his mother, with this Suave guy coming and doing the whole deal. Jennifer or Nelson, neither of them had a job. They lived in a small apartment, so now they at least had a bed. They said, quote, we never had a bed to lie on. Yeah. All we had was a sponge on the floor. What? So they're living horrible. They said they couldn't even afford food sometimes, and before this, they couldn't afford headstones. Yeah. So this seems to be like a huge deal. Like one of those rolls, like a camping roll sponge? Or I think so. I think it's just like one of those like a dish sponge for like a head, for like a pillow. A double thick yoga mat is what they're going for pretty much. That's pretty much what it is. That was their bed. That's it. So, terrible. Suave starts sending him on different trips out into the mainland of Canada here. In Halifax, Suave gave him a key to a numbered locker at a YMCA. Inside, this is like a movie. Inside, Nelson found an envelope and brought it back to Suave. And a third man that he didn't know, Suave told him these are credit cards and showed him the samples and said, see, this is what we're doing, basically. Yeah. We do illegal shit. Yeah. Suave looked at him, Hart said, and said, you don't tell nobody. You can't tell your mother, your wife, your dog, your cat. You can't tell your goldfish. You're in a circle now and you don't get out, he tells him. So he's basically telling him, you're in a gang.
Yeah.
You're a crip now.
You're in a crime syndicate.
You're in a crime syndicate. Enjoy.
Right. You're a consigliere now.
Yeah, absolutely. He would take him on to different things, too, where he would take him to, rough somebody up. And Nelson didn't have to do it, but he would Suave would rough somebody up in front of him and that sort of thing, and just to show him that he was a gangster.
You fuck up, we'll leave a horse on your sponge.
Yeah.
We'll leave a horse head in your sponge bed.
In your sponge bed. Suave asked him, Suave asked him, what about if you have to pull the trigger? And Nelson replied, I have no problem with that.
Oh, my God.
Insane. They're in Montreal. Suave calls Nelson, and he says, we got to go see the boss. Okay, this is the big boss. Word had arrived that he was saying is that a member of a rival gang was going to tell police that he witnessed Nelson drown his daughters. That's what he tells him. So the boss... Suave, they meet with the boss, and he tells him this boss controls the underworld. This is,
this guy's the one.
Yeah, people go. They said if you go to you go to see him, he's rich and powerful. He might be there to help you, or he said people might get cremated when they go there. Flush down the toilet, bye bye, type of thing. That's
what the guy said.
This is what the guy was telling him.
Flush down the toilet, bye bye.
Yeah. Unreal. So Nelson said he was a hard-looking fellow. The boss. Nelson said that the boss told him, tell me how you done away with your daughters. That's what he said. And so Nelson said, never, sir, never. I never hurt my daughters. I'm an epileptic. And the boss said, oh, no. Don't go lying to the boss. Don't lie to the boss. So Nelson says he was terrified, and he says he said he thought he'd be made to go away if he went against the boss. So he says he just uttered his confession. He said, I drowned my daughters. I pushed them over the wharf. And he told the boss how he, knocked him into the water with his knee, bumped him off the deal. He said it was a relief to him, Nelson, because he knew that they weren't going to kill him or break his ribs. You know what I mean? Okay. So he figured he was good. Suave actually would have him act it out at the wharf, how he did it. He wanted to see.
What?
Yeah, I guess he said the boss wanted me to to show me. So he acted it out. Yeah, it's unreal here. But they tell him, Suave tells him that they're going to take care of this guy who said he's going to tell him. We're going to take care of this fucking guy. Hart said he's told Suave, he said, I don't want any part of a murder. Yeah. And they said, no, we're going to kill him. We're just going to take care of him. Yeah. Okay, so still, though, he needed an alibi. Hart said, I'm going to get an alibi for this while you're doing this. I don't want anybody messing with me. So what he does is he takes Jennifer, picks her up, didn't tell her why, just get in the car right now, took her to Wal-Mart. And when they got there, he turned to her and said, Jennifer, look up at the camera and smile. And they stared at the security camera for 20 minutes. That was a way of saying, look, we're here.
Here we are.
Alibi.
We're not hurting anyone.
They might as well held up a sign that said alibi on it. It's fucking ridiculous. So
that's awesome.
So the next day, because that was unreal, right? This is June 12th.
They're so stupid.
This is June 12th, 2005. Next day, June 13th, Nelson is arrested at the airport in Gander, where Suave had told him to go pick up a plane ticket for a trip to the mainland. They gathered outside his car, the police, and Hart immediately tried to call Suave. He's like, I'm going to get out of this. The cops said, quote, no point in calling Steph. He's with us. So
that is a long way to go to get a confession out of a man.
So they got videotape confessions. Mm-hmm. The whole deal, because the boss there, that was all a videotape setup. Him admitting to the whole deal. Yes, the whole deal. This sting, they do this. It's called the Mr. Big operation up there. They do it to a lot of people.
Really?
It's a big thing they do all over the place to get people to admit to shit. Costs over $400,000. This particular sting.
Yeah, because they gave him like $30,000.
They're giving him all this money. It's done to many criminals. He's charged with first-degree murder. Whoa! On that day at the trial. Hey guys, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about this isn't even a sponsor.
No.
This isn't a sponsor. They're
just friends of ours.
People that are awesome. They're not just friends of ours. They're the people who made TrueCrimeComedyTeam.com, where you can go right now and get your amazing Small Town Murder and Crime and Sports t-shirts. Yeah. They do an amazing job. Their work is tremendous, and they do everything. You need a website, you need SEO,
you need logos,
need graphics, logos. They do it all. Webandwriter.com, also Facebook.com/webandwriter. Web and Writer. The prices are good. They're reasonable. They'll set it up.
So hard.
And this isn't any of this thing like you'll get sometimes an ad for, hey, set up your own website. Right. You know how to set up a website?
I have no idea.
I don't. And if I did, it would look like shit. If I made a website, even if I knew, I put a box here, it would look like shit. It's not going to. It's not going to flow right. No. It's not going to have the right design. Don't do that. Do yourself a favor.
Worse than MySpace.
Yeah, get a professional. Get a professional who does it at a good price and who will work hard for you and treat you as if you are valuable. Go to webandwriter.com or facebook.com/webandwriter. Writer, like writing something down, just so you know it's not rider, people. Right. But do that. Webandwriter.com. These people did our website. It's tremendous, and we love it so much that we're doing this ad because we're just so happy with it. We couldn't be more thrilled, and we know you guys will too, and we want to pass along a great value and a great product to our listeners like you guys.
That's it.
That's it, guys. Webandwriter.com, facebook.com/webandwriter. Get on there. Give it a shot.
There you go. And now back to the show.
At the trial, they showed the jury the hidden confession.
Sure.
They showed him the hidden tape. They said to the boss said to him in the tape, who was really a police officer, he said to Nelson, this was about the perfect murder. And Nelson said, it was pretty well organized. So the guy said, you must be a thinker, eh? And Nelson said, sometimes it pays to be that way. So this just, I mean...
You must be a thinker, right? Yeah, I'm going to go get an alibi by standing in front of a Walmart video camera.
So stupid.
I'm not a thinker.
And Hart's lawyer claims that he was intimidated by these people and just made up the story to impress them. That's what he said. I just made it up to impress them.
That seems like the easy way out of this whole setup.
It is. But it's interesting here. Now, March 28, 2007, jury comes back on this with a verdict of guilty.
Wow.
They got him. Sentenced him to life in prison with the eligibility of parole in no less than 25 years. So 25 years before parole.
Holy shit.
Life in prison. He's fucked. By the way, Jennifer's staying with him at this point.
Get out of here.
Staying with him. He didn't testify in his own defense because the judge refused to close the court to spectators, which turns out to be a big deal later on.
Okay.
But he didn't want to testify in front of people. Hart said in a brief statement that, he said he didn't do it. He said, quote, I'd like for the people of this town, the public, to know what was done to me. I was told to go against the crime boss. I tried to tell him the truth, but he didn't believe that. So she...
There's no crime boss, bro.
No. Jennifer Hicks is still fucking visiting him in prison. People are like, guys are asking her out. She's turning them down. Shit like that.
I got a murderer back.
I got a murderer. I got to go. Unreal. So September 17th, 2012 is an appeal to the Supreme Court in Newfoundland and Labrador. Three-panel judge here unanimously decides that Nelson should have been allowed to testify in privacy because of his tendency toward epileptic seizures and the stress of thinking and speaking clearly with so many people around. The judges also ruled that the audio and video transmission of his testimony could have been provided to the spectators outside the courtroom. He didn't need to be there. So, in a 2-1 decision, the appeal judges found that the evidence of confessions obtained from Hart by police in the Mr. Big stain was in proper coercion and inducements breaching Hart's rights.
Holy shit.
Court ruled that the confession should not have been admitted to trial. It was a 2-1. There was one dissenting. The majority appeal decision says that evidence should be tossed out. Police preyed on his vulnerabilities by offering him cash and friendship. Court ruled that they deprived Nelson of meaningful choice about whether to give an incriminating statement to Mr. Big. Quote, Mr. Hart was coerced into incriminating himself in circumstances where the reliability of the resulting confession is questionable. This strikes at the core principle against self-incrimination and strongly favors exclusion. Holy shit. He says he doesn't know if it was a false confession or not, but the way it was obtained doesn't matter. They grant him a new trial.
Okay.
New trial, and they tell
I was on the edge of my seat and I'm going, don't let him out.
They tell the prosecutors it's now up to them whether to proceed with a new trial, but without a confession, they don't have any goddamn evidence against him. They have nothing against him, and he is set free.
What?
Set free. Oh, by the way, on August 4th, 2014, which is the anniversary of them dying, he is set free. Unbelievable. Wow. The next day, August 5th, Crown prosecutors announced that they will not seek another murder trial for Hart. They don't have any evidence, they say. They have to withdraw the murder charges against him. He's not even present to hear it. The judge said this brings the matters to a close. He's released after spending 9 years in custody. It's unreal. And the lawyers they're asking the lawyers, is he going to sue now?
I was just going to ask you that.
Is he fucking suing? I'll drown this fucking guy in the lake myself if they give this fucking guy a penny. I swear to Christ. I will push this epileptic fuck in a lake and watch him seize. I don't care.
He's out living.
Yeah. They say that the lawyer says Mr. Hart has been affected psychologically in a tremendous fashion as a result of the sting and his prolonged incarceration. Yeah. They're trying to get sympathy for him. Fucking sympathy for this asshole. Unbelievable. So he's released to an undisclosed location. They don't tell anybody after 9 years.
You know how at the end of these, we feel real scummy for what happened.
Yeah.
Like right now,
this is worse.
This is the most scummy I've ever felt.
It's fucking horrible, isn't it?
There are 2 dead babies.
I loved Canada before this. Yeah, I loved it.
So nice, except for guys like him.
Now on the good side, November 28th, they set a trial date for new charges against him from an incident in prison in 2013, where he threatened to cause bodily harm or injury and assaulted a police officer.
Good.
There was a prison guard apparently shoved his lunch plate through his cell door and it fell on the floor. There's a camera with no audio that shows Hart lying on his bed when the items fall down. He came out of his cell and told the guard his lunch was on the floor, and then he grabbed a kettle from the common kitchen area, I assume like a tea kettle, and threw it at the wall-mounted TV. The video shows all this. He then goes back into his cell. Corrections officers go in to get him. There's a whole big deal. Hart, in this video, Nelson's lying face down on the ground, appears to be yelling and all this shit. 8 officers go in and they swarm. They do with these riot response teams and guys. Apparently, guards all testified that he threatened to kill them and said he was going to, quote, stab them up.
Okay.
So, nice guy. He's threatened to kill this one, threatened to kill these people, and he's probably pushed his kids in the water.
Probably
allegedly
killed somebody before.
So they sentence him to a 60-day house arrest. That's it.
That's what he gets.
That's what he gets for threatening guards in jail. Unreal.
And now the government's paying for his life anyway.
Yeah. Jennifer Hicks says now she's not with him anymore. She finally broke up with him. She said that she was fiercely supportive of him. Now she fears him. She said she goes to her daughter's graves every day. She's just trying to
make it all go away.
And she said she blames herself. She has a quote here. Quote, "I blame myself. If I had the time back, they would never have gone with him. Why didn't I keep them home? Who other can you trust with your kids other than their own father?" Fair. Fucking fair. Yeah. It's so fair. She says, thinking back, that she was always a little suspicious of what happened at the park, and she would sometimes ask him if he had, quote, done away with the girls. And he would say, "No, I never done away with the girls." That's all he would say. But she said there was always something in the back of my mind that I didn't believe him. I didn't trust him. All the stuff that the police saved from the dumpster that he threw out, she still has the things in plastic bins in her closet in her apartment, which I don't blame her. I wouldn't be able to throw that stuff out either. She lives in St. John's. Nelson is currently living somewhere in St. John's. His mother says he's being looked after and treated as, quote, his nerves are bad. No one will give a location because people will go there and rip his fucking head off.
I would hope so.
Even in Canada. Even those nice people will do there. Jennifer wants him to be back in prison. She said, quote, "It might take me years. They might find something else I don't know. Why should he be walking the streets happy-go-lucky, getting away with the girl's death while I'm suffering every day of my life without these precious little angels? If there is anything in my power that I can do, I am doing it. There is no justice for me and my girls. It's like me and the girls are just washed under the rug."
Jesus.
Poor fucking people.
Why she got to use washed?
Yeah, no water.
God, that hurts.
Fuck, these poor people, man. Or this poor lady, this Jennifer Hicks. I mean, I feel so bad for her because her daughters are dead, and at the same time, I'm like, God damn it, pay attention.
Her whole life is filled with death, though.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody dies except for her sister. Everybody else is dead.
Except for this asshole
and this
fuckhead who she wishes he's dead. So for staying I don't know how she would stay with. I guess I commend her loyalty or whatever, but I mean, how the fuck do you not just go, no, that's just, I think if I have 1% of my brain that's 97.4% white, if I have 6.6% of my brain, even that little bit, that says maybe I'm not with him.
Right.
Fuck him. I can't be with him and not want to stab him in the throat
97% innocent isn't innocent enough.
No, not innocent fucking enough. Holy shit. What a mess of a story. That story fucked me up. I had a terrible week of sleep because of this. I kept thinking about these little girls, and it just drove me crazy. And I hope it doesn't do the same to you guys. I hope we could make it semi-enjoyable along the way. If you enjoyed that story, or are telling of it, as I like to say more accurately, Jesus Christ, please get on iTunes and let us know. Give us 5 stars.
I feel awful.
It helps us a ton. Doesn't matter what you say. Like we said, patreon.com/crimeinsports or PayPal. You can do crimeinsports@gmail.com. We have some awesome people we're going to give shout-outs to now who did just that this week. Jimmy?
Heather Budd, Selena, Gretchen Oswald, David Smith, Brittany Harrington, Tyler Card, Amy Reiners, Dixon Balls. I'm going to go ahead and assume that is a fake name.
I'm going to hope that's a
Dixon
pseudonym.
Balls.
Yeah, I'm going to assume pseudonym on that one. Let's go ahead.
I'm going to go with fucking amazing still to read that. Dixon, Dixon.
Wow.
Balls.
That's something right there.
That's awesome. Milo Grant, Sean Kerrigan, Peyton Shaver, anonymous donor. Somebody gave us a large donation, which was incredibly sweet. So thank you.
Didn't want them said, but thank you so. You have no idea what that means to us. Honestly, thank you.
Katie L, Jamie Crawford, Dan Gardner, David Newsom, Naomi Jones. Naomi James. Jesus. Arthur Thurman, Monica Robertson, Casey Turk, Rebecca Doe, John Joyce in the UK. That guy's awesome.
Yes.
This one's so tough. Marjolaine Spites or Spitzy or Spitz.
Yeah, she knows who she is. We love you. Thank you.
Such a tough name.
Thank you.
Carrie Clark and Lisa Morrow. And from Jake Hinka in Michigan, he said, I was listening to your Eufaula, Oklahoma episode in which you mentioned that modern soldiers don't have shit on World War II vets. As a former soldier who served in Afghanistan, I have to say you're absolutely right. Those magnificent
Thank you for not being mad at us.
Those magnificent bastards deserve the moniker the greatest generation for more reasons than I can even begin to list. That said, you guys are amazing. I love both podcasts. Stay awesome. Jake from Michigan, not State Farm.
Nothing against the military. We were just, it was mainly a Hitler thing. It was about Hitler.
Those guys were amazing. Yeah, and they did it, and you did it too.
Yes, thank you, man. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for finding Bin Laden.
Whether you fought in Afghanistan or not, thank you for listening. Honestly, we appreciate the shit out of it. Jimmy, you want to give them your social media?
At Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And thank you all for sending me all those amazing pet pics this weekend. It was my favorite fucking.
Don't send me your pet pics.
I don't give a shit. Jimmy's go by so, I love animals.
I'd be like, stop sending me your fucking dogs. I don't want to look at pictures of my own fucking dog. Send them to Jimmy.
So thank you guys. That was a fun weekend.
Yeah, not bad at all. Also, too, you can check me out at Stand Up Live in Phoenix, July 21st through 23rd with Paul Verzi, who is hilarious guy, New York guy, works with Bill Burr all over the place, really funny and a good friend of mine. So that is a show you definitely want to come out to. 100% good time all around. Also listen to the Verzi Effect, it's podcast. It's very good shit. You can catch up with me at Jimmy P is Funny, or you can just copy and paste my last name, do all that. And if you want to get on the list for any of those, shoot me a message and I'll get you in for free. How's that sound? Oh, you can't beat it, guys. Can't beat it. We can't wait. Until next week, everybody. It's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.